All right, we got everything. All right, let's roll. Hey everybody, it's 6:05 a.m. and we're on our way to Roberto's Taco Shop. We're going to be getting $7.04 for 4.1 miles. Let's go. I did like a reshuffling of my videos, so a lot of them may be out of order, and then there's a few that I switched to just being members only because they're more not on topic with DoorDashing, and although they're like a mix, they're more just like me at home just talking about financial stuff and stuff that's going on that I did, like I serviced the car. And so I was watching the algorithm on YouTube, and it looked like because some videos were becoming like off topic, or they weren't getting the like, for whatever reason, they weren't getting the kind of views that they would normally get. And I was like, okay, well, I'm putting out videos every day, so possibly what's happening is that because I'm putting out so many, they have to meet certain metrics, I guess, or else it will start to like not promote the videos. So I was like, okay, so I'll just I'll start to make it a little bit more stronger, more in line with the kind of content that you guys are used to getting. Oh, wait a minute, here we are at Roberto's. Let's get it. Boy, people are too much. It's too early in the morning for all this baloney. People are asking for custom things and extra this and extra that on the first one of the day, and they're hitting me with this baloney. I'm like, you're just gonna get what you're gonna get. They were like, oh, can you get 2 of this salsa and 3 of that salsa? And I'm like, really? I grabbed some salsa. And at Roberto's, you have to manually scoop yourself out the salsa and put them in the little containers. They're not like packets that you just grab. So I'm just like, whatever. I'm like, I got you some salsa. It may not be all the salsa that you wanted, but that's all you're gonna get. I'm like, what is going on? That's the one thing I don't like about when I pick up from Roberto's, is that they don't tell the store, the restaurant, that they want whatever salsas. They tell the driver to like suddenly do their bidding and do all this stuff. And because it's UberEats, they're like, you have that concern, like, oh, they're gonna take the tip away if I don't get them exactly what they want, because for any reason they could just be like, nah, I'm not gonna tip them. And there's nothing you can do about it. So, I was just like, I actually was walking out of the restaurant when I said, complete the pickup. And I turned around when I saw there was a message, because I said, oh, they probably want something extra, like salsa or something. And I was like, okay, I hadn't gotten back in the car yet. So I went back inside the restaurant. And then I got the salsa, and then they messaged again asking for like more other things, like, give me 2 more, give me extra. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, that's it. That is it. So we'll see what happens with this one. I put this in my mind as as a situation where now it's just a wait and see. It's like, oh, we'll either get the full tip or we won't. It becomes one of those, let's see what happens situations. But it's irritating, This job is so thankless. Like, we're gonna go to a guard gated community, and well, it's where the rich people are at, but we'll see what happens when we get in there. Man, it makes me so mad. Who wants to be this pissed off this early in the morning? I tell you, I don't. I was like, you know what? I'm relaxed. I just want to just pick some stuff up and drop it off. Do some shopping. I don't want to deal with the stress of people and their custom requests, especially not on the first one. That really messes up your day. You know, you're not quite settled yet into your day. You're a little bit just kind of on autopilot, and then they throw this baloney at you where you have to deal with custom requests. Ugh.
There we go.
All right, thank you. She was funny. She was just like, she wasn't really a security guard. She was like a volunteer. That was different. Maybe they couldn't get any help, and so every once in a while they'll ask people in the community if they want to volunteer and work the gate. I guess. I don't know. Maybe she's from a temp agency. I don't know. But she didn't seem like a security guard at all. She just seemed like just some nice lady that lives down the street. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. I'm gonna turn on my app, my DoorDash app, see if we get something while we're on our way to this friendly person who decides to send custom requests. Oy. I gotta shake it off. Shake it off. Come on, guys. Shake it off. Don't let the first one tick you off. I was up late last night too. I had to go to the airport. I had to pick up a family member from the airport. So I didn't sleep well last night. So I'm also a little bit on the cranky side. Oh dear, this navigation is telling me something weird. Let's see. It says it's a house coming up on the left, but it looks like it says the street is on the road that we're currently on. Oh, it is. Okay. Oh, look, they're rich and fancy, and they like custom requests. Turn it around here. See if I can get to their front walkway. All right, let's do it. All right, well, that's dropped off. And now we have the pleasure of finding out whether or not they're going to give us the full tip. I can't wait to find out whether or not they're going to give us the full tip. I am totally excited about it. It is a thrilling moment in history, people. And of course they had all these fancy cars in the driveway, and they had a real obnoxious Ring doorbell that's like, "You are currently being recorded." I'm like, I just wanted to give them the middle finger. I'm like, up yours. Oh man. Gotta shake it off. Come on. Shake it off. Gotta get past it. It's always bad when the first one's like that. It just makes you so mad. It's different when it's DoorDash, because you know you're going to get the money. But it's not fun when it's somebody who is on UberEats. It's very irritating. Oh, I'm still mad. Maybe I need to get my blood pressure checked. Maybe my arteries are hardening in my old age, and I am not managing irritations as well as I used to. That could be it. Just get me out of here. Get me out of this rich person's place. I am over it. Oh, we just got a Walmart one that came in, but it was taking me over past the freeway, over past the 15 freeway. And I do not want to have to go out of this zone today. It's Sunday and I just don't feel like going far. I mean, unless it's double the miles. If it's double the miles, then I'll do it. They're not going to pay me double the... Oh, something's coming in. $2.30. Get out of here, jerk off. Boy, I am pissed. I am so mad. I can't even tell you. I am so mad. I just gotta let it go. It's terrible when it's the first one, boy. It will set me off. I have to kind of get into my groove. It's like, let me get into my positive groove of the day, and then I won't even care. But when it's the first one, and you know, in the morning, sometimes in the morning I get kind of grumpy. So this is it really ticking me off. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Oh my gosh. Just breathe. $2.20 from Uber for who cares how many miles. Get out of here. And now my hands smell like salsa. Let me put some hand sanitizer. Oh, the light changed. I put some hand sanitizer on so I can get that stench off my fingers. Because that'll trigger me too. I'll like smell salsa and that'll trigger me and I'll start thinking about it again. Well, though, let's focus on positive things. It is currently a quiet Sunday morning and there's hardly any traffic on the road. And that is pleasant. I got all the roads to myself, and so there are hardly any cars about. And so that part is nice. And the weather's nice. It's 66 degrees. And there's no wind. So that makes it really nice too. So yeah, let's just focus on positive things. Let's try not to get too deep into the weeds. So let stuff get under us. It'd help if something else would come in. If they sent us something else. But nope. Well, I woke up real early this morning. My dog started whining and wanted treats, and that was at about 3:30 a.m. Then I got up and I had some delicious watermelon this morning. I bought this huge watermelon at Walmart, and it was, you know, this time of year you can't get a bad watermelon at this time of year. It was delicious. And so I cut up just half of it, half the watermelon, have it like in a Tupperware, and then I've been snacking on it like nonstop. And it's really helped with my scratchy throat. I'm actually feeling a lot better today than I was yesterday. So I think it's doing its magic. There's something about freshly cut watermelon. It must have some kind of nutrients and the hydration and all that really helps for people if you get like kind of upper respiratory issues. So I did that, and then after that I was still hungry, so I had a half of a peanut butter sandwich with banana and some milk, and then that kind of did it. Now I feel fine. And then I think that was it for the morning, other than just kind of maintaining the car. I took my cleaning stuff out. I started cleaning the windows because they were really building up a lot of gunk. And I know the car still needs to be washed at some point, but I'm always so bad about that. I mean, until it finally looks, and this car's white, so you don't really see the filth on it, but eventually I will. If you look up close, you're like, oh yeah, it's getting dirty. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll just take a spray bottle that has water and dish soap in it, and I'll just spray the car down with that solution, and then I'll wipe it down. You know, I'll just treat the car like it's a table, you know, like a table in the backyard that has dust on it, and I'll just wipe it all down. And the car is not very big, you know, this is a tiny little car, so it doesn't take that long to wipe down the entire car. So I'll do that sometimes, and then I think to myself, well, that's good for the environment. I'm not using a lot of water. I'm saving water that way, and I'm saving money. Car washes are expensive. Over here, you can't get a car wash for not less than about $10. I think there's one over there down the street. I think it might be $8.99 or $9.99, but that's just for the basic, you know, soap and rinse, not anything fancy. So for that much money, I'll just do it myself. I could always just pull into the driveway and just take a bucket and the hose and just wash it myself. But then whenever I do that, then it's like, oh, you got to do the wave, you know. The neighbors come out and you got to do the wave. UberEats, $4.65 for 12 miles. No. That's funny. My phone isn't making any sounds. Oh, my radio is turned off in the car. That's why it's not making any noise. I forgot I turned off the music in the car last night when I picked up the family member from the airport. Okay, it's 6:50 a.m. and we're gonna be headed off to Starbucks. I think we're getting $5. Yeah, $5 for 3.1 miles. Let's get on over there and get it. This is gonna be my last one, and then I have to go give the dog her medication, her antibiotics. It seems like this antibiotic thing is going on a long time. But I think it's only going to be 7 days. She has to be on it for 14 days, so I'm halfway there. But I don't know if it's going to be done or not, because when I see the doctor or the vet on Monday, they're going to have to let me know how she's doing. They're going to take a look and just let me know what the next steps are to do. So that just could mean more, you know, if they have to do anything invasive, you know, surgery, then that's going to be more antibiotics, more medications, and then even more longer time for recovery. So that's going to definitely affect my work schedule even more for a longer period of time. So I just got to get used to it. I got to get used to just heading back home and just taking a break, which I do, I guess, anyway. But, you know, I always keep the app running for things to happen. But if I've got to watch the dog, I've got to turn the app completely off because, you know, I can't take anything. I'm stuck. So, yeah, it's tough having animals, you know. Of course, I wouldn't change anything because I love my animals. But, you know, you got to just do what you got to do. It's just life. I had animals before. I had a German short, half lab, half German short-haired pointer, and then I had a Cocker Spaniel Labrador mix as well. And those two grew up together, and they didn't get along. They didn't really get along with each other. In fact, I had to feed them separate from each other because the other one would attack. The Cocker mix would attack the short-haired pointer. They did not get along. Okay, they were not. I got them thinking they'd be the best of friends, and they were not the best of friends. He liked her, and she just wanted to be left alone. I think she had a very traumatic. We had gotten her from a police station. She was I think confiscated in some type of drug raid or something. So she had gone through a lot of traumatic experiences as a puppy. And so when we got her, she was like, oh gosh, she's only like a year and a half old. But I guess she had enough traumatic experiences that she was never the same. But she was a good dog. She was good to people. She was just not good to other dogs. So that told me that she must have had a lot of competition for survival amongst other dogs, and that's what changed her personality. Okay, so I got it, and we're going to go to a house just 1.9 miles from here. And we'll drop it off, and then we'll go give the dog her medication. I just got to remember to turn off my other apps and not not accept other offers. I don't know how people do these apps and not mess up their acceptance rate if that's their goal, to have a low acceptance rate. Because even on DoorDash, if you pause the app, sometimes an offer will actually come through the pause, which I think is totally crazy. It's like, how does the offer still come through if you hit pause and the screen actually shows you are paused and an offer will still come through? I don't understand it. And that messes, and then people that are real sticklers for a really low acceptance rate must get really pissed off. And I notice sometimes too that when you're trying to press the pause button, but you haven't pressed it yet, it'll do that too. It'll shoot you an offer. Oh man, that must really tick people off. And I could see why it would be so hard for people to keep a low acceptance rate or high acceptance rate. Look at me, I'm dyslexic. A high acceptance rate. It would be really difficult. I couldn't do it. I'm glad I don't have. That's an added stress. Who needs that? Who needs that kind of stress? And then just to add on top of that, the irritation of getting these extremely long mile trips for just a tiny bit of money, and you just have this anxiety about rejecting it. It's like, oh, just the whole thing sounds horrific. Absolutely horrific. It's like, no, thank you. I'll pass on that. So I think I was telling you guys about my dogs. So I had the two dogs. The one was named Summer, and she was the Cocker mix, and the other one was named Coco, and he was the short-haired pointer mix. And they didn't get along with each other, and there was always crazy. I always fed them separate, and then they were fine. And then something, as long as they weren't eating, like if they weren't eating their food, and it was just hanging out, they were fine. They wouldn't fight. There'd be no fighting if they were not. I forgot. Yeah, if one of them started barking, the other one would become aggressive. Now it was always Summer that would be aggressive to Coco. So let's suppose Coco got scared. And Coco's a short-haired pointer. He'd always get scared about everything. He was a very nervous dog. So he would be like, something would be happening. Like he'd think a stranger was at the door or something. He'd start barking like crazy. And or if he saw a strange dog he didn't know, he would start barking like crazy to like alert us. Like, oh, something's wrong. And Summer, instead of being like in tune with him and like barking and alerting us something's wrong, she would think Coco was barking at her, and she would bite him. She'd get all pissed off, like, don't bark at me. Oh, those dogs are crazy. So yeah, they passed away years ago, but they're the first dogs that we ever had, so they were good doggies. Gotta be so careful doing this job, getting in and out of the car all the time. One time when I got in the car, it wasn't all the way in, and I closed the door on my foot. Oh my God, it hurt so bad. And then because this is a small car, one time I got in too fast and my knee just banged right into the front of the car, and oh, I saw stars when that happened. So you guys know, when we get in and out of the car constantly, and I can't tell you how many times I've left the car in drive and I've almost stepped out, and thank goodness for the emergency parking brake, because it keeps the car from rolling away. But that happens too, because we're just doing this all day long. All right, let's drop it off. Well, that was a simple drop off. It's all quiet right now because it's Sunday morning, 7:04 a.m. So it's still early in the shift. And now we're headed back to take care of the little doggy and get her antibiotics. I've always loved animals. Even as a little kid, we had so many animals growing up. We had rabbits, and we had parakeets, we had cats, dogs, hamsters. We had all kinds of animals as children growing up. And one time my brother, he went down to the golf course, and they had a beautiful pond with ducks. And he stole a duckling from the pond and brought it home and put it in our plastic pool. And then my grandpa came home and he saw what we were doing. He was really mad. We're like, whoops, we didn't know, we were just kids. We thought my brother, he was always into mischief. He is the mischievous one. I was just the one that tagged along for the ride. I was always just, because your older brother, so you just go along with your older brother and do what they do. But he was the king of mischief. Everything he did was trouble. When you saw him, you knew trouble was coming. All right, we got our next one, $6.68. I think it's for 3-point-something miles. Let's get going. All right, it is 8 a.m. and we are cruising on down here to get that Starbucks, and it is slow today. After I gave my dog her medication, I sat with the family for the longest time, just chit-chatting away about medical decisions and cancer for tumors and benign tumors and treatments for the dog's appointment on Monday and all that stuff. And still I got nothing good that came in. I had one offer that came in. It was like 13 something, but it was like way too many items to shop at Vons. I was like, I ain't doing that. I ain't in the mood. So now we're just gonna do this Starbucks one, which is nice and simple. And so far it's been slow. I think just a lot of people right now are sleeping in, and that's why it's so slow. That's my best guess. But everybody in the family, I think, is worried about the dog. Everybody's worried. So that's on the mind. That's definitely heavy on the mind. Because it's coming up. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day that they're going to just basically have a look-see at the dog. That's all. They have a look-see. And then they've already gave me a quote to do the procedures to test to see if it's cancer or not. So that's like, gosh, I think it's almost $1,000 to do all the stuff they want to do. So, and I don't even know if that includes a surgical procedure or not. I don't know. I didn't even want to think about it. I think the main ones is just blood work and take a sample with a needle or something and all that stuff. But I don't want to even think about it really, because I'm just like, well, just let the doctor just look and see if maybe the swelling has gone down. Hopefully it's just swelling. Look at us. Let's be ostriches. Let's stick our heads in the sand and just pretend like everything's fine, because it's so stressful. And it's not really about the financial aspect. That's a very small part of the stress. It's just the dog. You don't want the dog to pass away. Nobody wants to lose their doggy. So yeah, that's stressful. Right. All right, we're pulling in a Starbucks. Let's go get it. Alright, looks like we're gonna go to a house like 2.3 miles from here. Yeah, I don't know about these. Oh, and the Starbucks was ready to go, so there was no waiting on this one. It was easy peasy. It's always a crapshoot at this Starbucks. It can either be a 20-minute wait for your Starbucks order, or it's just sitting there and it's ready to go. It's always a mystery at this particular location. At least now we got it. So, you know what's weird about stressful things and you're a guy? When you're stressed as a guy, you just get mad. Because maybe that's just programmed as a guy, that when things happen, you get quiet. You either get quiet and you don't say nothing, or you get ticked off and then you get mad. And that's like society has pre-programmed men to behave and that's the acceptable way for men to express themselves. It's either in anger or in silence, or you can joke it off. Women go through have a whole different range of emotions that they can do, and including crying and being and they can do that. They can be angry. They can do crying. They can express themselves much more thoroughly in their frustration about something that's difficult that they're going through. And we don't do that. And I think it's a cultural thing for men to usually not express their emotions. And you guys all know that. You see what your dads or your brothers or your boyfriends, how they deal with stress. If it gets really stressful, they don't say anything. They become very despondent. They just disconnect. And that's just how society has taught us to deal with it, because we have to go to a very disconnected place to cope with stress. And I don't know if women, I don't think women do that. I think women go through the whole process of emotions. They just keep talking and talking. And of course, the men don't like that either, because it gets on their nerves and makes them more mad. Which is so funny. So, like right now, I'm stressed about the little doggy, and that of course has me worried. But as a guy, it's just that my thought, my mind goes immediately to just trying to process all the different scenarios that are going to be coming, because that's just how the male mind works. We have to go through the process of scenarios, the best case and worst case scenarios, so that we can sort of think ahead. Like, how can we think ahead? How can we think 10 steps ahead of what we have to prepare for should something happen? And that's where all the mental energy comes from. And that's why we get as guys, we get quiet when things get stressful, because we're trying to think 10 steps ahead to prepare for whatever we have to deal with. So I think it's good in a way, because it's just a different strategy of handling stress. That's how men are able to usually, when something goes wrong, their minds immediately think, how can I fix this? Like, how can I fix this situation? And I think a lot of women, they don't think that way. When they get a situation, they're not thinking about how they can fix it. They're actually living in the moment of worry. They're like, they're in that emotional state, like, I'm really worried about this. So I think that's a much more healthier way to be. Did they give us a gate code to get in here? Oh yeah, they did. Let's go. I'm surprised we're gonna go to this specific customer, because they didn't put their normal bologna in there in their special instructions. I guess they updated it, and they realized that they needed to change it. So I was like, I didn't recognize the customer. I don't recognize customers by their names normally. It's usually by their special instructions, because they never change them. So I'm like, oh, you're extra hot sauce. You're the extra hot sauce customer. And it doesn't matter what I'm ordering, they never update their special instructions in the app. So they become known not for their name, but for whatever special thing they put in the app. Let's see here. Oh, they got a lot of cars today. See if they have the tightest road here. You think, as fancy as the houses are here, they would have a wider road, but they don't. The road is really tight. All right, we're here. Let's drop it off. $6.25 from DoorDash for 10 miles. That's not gonna work. Something's coming in from UberEats. Give me a second, UberEats. $7.06 for 8.8 miles. That ain't gonna work. I was gonna comment on that old truck that was in front of us. Looks like it's from the 1950s or 40s. $4.50, 3.8 miles from DoorDash. That's a no. Decline. Nothing good so far. There's a lot of people that collect classic cars in this town, and they park over near Twin Peaks. You know, that restaurant that's like, it's like a different, it's an alternative version to Hooters. At first I thought Twin Peaks, the reason for the name of the restaurant Twin Peaks was based on that old TV show that was called Twin Peaks from I think it was the 80s or 90s. I think it was the 90s. $6.50 for 4.6 miles. No, that would be about $8, so you're off. No. So yeah, but no, Twin Peaks has to do with like Hooters, has to do with boobies. Which is so funny. So anyway, that's where the people park their cars on the weekend to show off their classic cars here. At least in this part of town is where they do it. And I guess it's a big deal. Every time I go by, I see all these classic cars parked over there. So that's another rich person's hobby, or just, you know, a guy hobby that they like to do. I think a lot of people in this town, a large percentage are retired. I think a lot of people move from either cold states, or sometimes they just come from California, because we're right next to California, and they come here to retire. And so, you know, people, when you retire, you have to develop a hobby, because you need something to do to pass the time. Like what I do when I do this Uber Eats and DoorDashing, this is like my hobby. So, but other people have much more expensive hobbies, which would be the collecting cars, and some people are so into gambling here. I can't believe how many elderly people I see in the casinos early in the morning, just stuffing those slot machines with their money. You know, they're just spending and spending, and they spend all day there, and they're just smoking and drinking, and it's like early in the morning, and they're acting like it's like 10 o'clock at night, and they're just, I think a lot of people do that too. That's their hobby, but that's a really unhealthy hobby, because that could financially bankrupt you, and it's not good for your health, because you're just sitting there and you're consuming all these unhealthy things. So I think that's a very bad hobby to have. But maybe these people that I see, and it's mostly women that I see doing it, I think a lot of them, it's because they're lonely. I think maybe they have very sick husbands at home that are, you know, near death or have died, and maybe they don't live near their kids, or they don't have any kids, or they're not close to their kids. And so they don't want to really, you know, it's their way of just enjoying themselves and kicking the bucket, because that will accelerate your demise, you know, having that type of lifestyle. So, and also I think it relaxes them too. I don't think they consciously think it's shortening their lifespan. I think they're trying to fight off anxiety and depression. That's why most of us do whatever we do. Like even this job that I'm doing, it helps to stave off anxiety and depression, because that's the thing that we all try to do, because we know that's a very unpleasant state of mind to be in. Who wants to have anxiety and depression and have nothing to do to distract yourself from it? So I think it's a very common emotional state that people in general are in. And so you'll see people exercising, so that they will not be in that negative state. So we all want to stay in a positive state of mind, because we know it's a good way to live is in a positive mindset. So although, you know, there's some people, they're cynical. Oh, here comes another Starbucks. I think we're going back to the same place. It's $6 for 2.9 miles. It meets the metrics, so I'll press the button, and I'm not 100% sure if it's the same. Well, it's the same one. All right, let's go back over there. Oh, something's coming in from the Cracked Egg, but it's $9 for 16 miles. I'm declining it. I'm pausing the app. Some people on here get upset when I have two apps on at the same time. And I used to do that all the time, but not anymore. I don't really multi-app much these days. I really would multi-app because I would try to get a dirty stack. I would be like I would memorize in my mind the drop-off spot that it showed me on the map for, let's say, UberEats. And then I accept it. And then I keep declining DoorDash ones, hoping that the next one that came up would be taking me in the same direction, and the pickup spot would also be nearby the other one, so they would align. And so that's what I would used to do, but that requires a lot of brain power, and I can't chit chat and do that at the same time. So my YouTube endeavors does cost me money. It does cost me money. It costs me probably about, it must cost me anywhere from $20 to $40 a day to do it. But as long as I'm enjoying the YouTube, I'll just keep doing it. And then if I ever don't, then I'll just focus back to just 100% Uber Eats and DoorDash and other gig apps. And then my money will go right back up, because my focus will be back on that and not so much camera work and chatting with you guys on the YouTube. But I know it's going to take a while, so I've kind of committed myself to doing it for about a year, and then I would see where I'm at. It's like, oh, if it's compensating me close to the money I'm losing, then I'm like, okay, well then it's fine, because then it balances out. But if I'm way below, and also enjoyment. Like if I'm still really enjoying doing it, then that's the other thing too. So there's a lot of factors to consider when you're making videos. It's kind of a big commitment when you think about it, because I'm building relationships with people I don't know. And, you know, it's also, there's a little bit of an emotional investment too, because, you know, you're building connections with people through video. And so that's the other aspect to it. It's like you have this community that you're becoming a part of, which is kind of surreal when you think about it, because you're just by yourself. Yet when you finally go back to YouTube, you could see everybody, you know, doing the same thing. So we have this thing in common that we're all doing. Come on, let's get this organized. Drop this in. Let's go. Something else is coming in. It's $5.03 for 6.7 miles. Oh, it's Uber Eats. See if I can back out of here without causing an accident. It's starting to get busier now. It's 8:27. It's picking up. I was in there for a while. It took them probably 10 minutes to get the order out to me. See how I was telling you earlier that this particular Starbucks, it's really hard to predict how fast they're going to get your food to you, or your order to you. Sometimes it's just ready, and then sometimes it's just really long. And I had the app, I always put the other app on. I had a DoorDash on, but nothing good came in, so other things came in, but I just kept declining them because they weren't any good. So Nothing you can do about it. You just have to just hang out and pass the time. I signed up for the Instagram and then the Threads and TikTok, but I haven't really been keeping up with that lately. I think I'm just too preoccupied with the dog. I got too much other stuff on my mind. So I'm just prioritizing right now. It's like, okay, I'll just do my delivery job and I'll do my videoing, and that's about it for right now. Because I need time to decompress and just be to myself. So that's what I've been doing. Just doing that to myself. I give props to all these other YouTubers out there that can do more personal stuff than what I do. I kind of try to stick mostly in generalities when I try to talk. Like, I'll talk about things from my childhood, but I have to talk in generalities about, family and my life, because, I have to respect the privacy of other family members in the household. So I have to always talk in generalities for that particular reason. Not necessarily for myself, but just so that other people don't feel like I'm, saying stuff. UberEats, $9.23, 11.8 miles. No. Yeah, so that way other people don't feel like their privacy is being interloped upon. Interloped. That's a funny word. Interlope. I don't want to be an interloper. Oh, something's coming in. DoorDash, $8.50 for 10 miles. That ain't going to work. Most of these offers are just terrible. My acceptance rate on DoorDash right now is 9%. UberEats, $8.20 for 7.6 miles. No. Another bad one. I've gotten to the point now where I just expect the offers to be terrible. So I'm just always at the ready just ready to hit the decline button. Because if you just look at my acceptance rate, that tells you everything. That means, what is that? That's like 9 out of every 10 offers they send me are terrible offers. So you have to that's a 90% chance. So like 90% chance every time an offer comes in, it's not gonna be good enough for my standards of what I would accept to do. So that's high. Oh, we got a good one. This is Uber Eats, and it's $6.72 for 1.7 miles. I'm gonna accept that one. I don't know. Another one's coming in from DoorDash, but it's too late. You blew it, DoorDash. You weren't fast enough. And it's $11 for 9 miles. So it's no good. So we're going to go ahead and pause that. So I paused DoorDash. And now we're going to continue our delivery with with Uber Eats. And drop this Starbucks off. And then we'll head off to Dunkin' next. I don't know if I took a screenshot of the offer that came in from Uber Eats, so there may not be any graphic right here, and that's my oopsie, because I'm so busy talking sometimes I forget to do all those little things. There's a lot of production there's a lot of production involved in putting these videos together, and I think as long as I'm verbally telling you guys, you don't care. You're like, oh yeah, we know what you're talking about. You don't have to show us the graphic. You don't have to be that graphic intensive. Oh, let's see. I think it's this house. Yeah. It's always the same people. All the regulars. Let's drop it. Come on, let's go. I don't know if you guys saw in the video, but this particular house, they actually put a table near their front door, and the table has a sign on the... Oh, we got another one. Uber Eats, you are being good to us today. $7.82 for 1.4 more miles, and it's Francesca Aka Acaibo. That's good money for very short miles. But yeah, they put a sign on a table near their front door, and it says their address and their street name, so that way the drivers can know for sure they're at the right place, because I guess their house gets confused with another house that probably is very close nearby on a different street, and so they're trying to avoid that problem that they've had in the past with getting their deliveries sent to the wrong place. These two people are just standing in the road. Now, why would you be standing in the road if you know cars are coming?
Turn left on Coronado Center Drive.
That's a guy thing. I don't think women do that when they're exercising, and men do it when they're working. Or sometimes men will do it if they're retired. Retired men, I think, do that a lot of the time too. Like they're chit-chatting with their neighbor, and they're standing in the middle of the road. It's like, get out of the way. It's like, this is a road. It's not a sidewalk. Oh gosh, do I have everything? I'm so discombobulated today. I feel like I'm out of whack. Maybe because it's Sunday, or I don't know. Trying to get my act together over here. Oh yeah. I'm glad you guys enjoy these chit chat videos, and the longer ones. I really enjoy making them more so than the other ones. They flow a lot better, I noticed. Because we're just hanging out. And that's originally why I did the channel. I was like, oh, let's make these hangout videos. And then my mind got all twisted. And that happens when you do, whenever you're doing stuff over and over again, and your mind starts to think you need to do something different, even though you really don't have to. Your mind tells you stuff like, oh, do something different now. That's the curse of being me, is that even if I get, like, let's say I got all A's in school doing something, I would be like, oh no, I don't want to get all A's. So I would purposely sabotage myself so I'd get lower grades, because I felt like I had done it. Like when you achieve something, and it's the same thing with my darn eating habits. Like whenever I achieve something, whether it's good or bad, I felt like I can't stay in that state. I have to switch. All right, we're here at Dunkin'. Let's get it. Okay, next up we gotta go to Francesca's. It's right next door, but this particular Dunkin' is kind of up on a hill, and there's no easy access to walk to the Francesca's, even though it's like right there. It is literally right there across the way, but there's no way for me to access it. So I have to come around. I've got to go all the way back up and back and behind. And it's also not safe. It's like this street that we're off of is very busy. So if I were to try to mountain climb or hike down the hill, I would potentially get run over by a car, because the cars that come into the road come flying in. So it's better just to drive on over, and it's just a few seconds. And I bet you anything, it's not even ready, so it doesn't matter. All right, we're turning into Francesca's. Let's go do it. I can shove this thing right next to it without disturbing the other one. Yep, it fit. I was talking, I didn't even turn the camera on. Don't you hate when that happens? I'm like, whoops. What was I saying? Oh, we're going back to the same neighborhood that we were at when we dropped that Starbucks one, the previous order. So coincidentally, we're headed back to the other one, and it's 0.9 miles away, 2 minutes. It's leave at the door. God, this person drove like crap. Jeez. It's a leave at the door. It's a house. So that's, and I don't know which one. Who's it? It's the Dunkin'. The Dunkin' order is next. Next on the itinerary. On the itineraries is the Dunkin' one.
Turn right on Sienna Heights Drive.
Oh, that irritated me, that bad driver. Oh, it's weird how on a Sunday something like that will set me off because it's so peaceful. But if it was like super busy traffic and things were all rushing around, that wouldn't have bothered me at all. It's funny. I think because I'm like, you got all of this quiet, no cars on the road, and the moment you encounter a car, they drive like terrible. Oop. Somebody ordered something with a lot of pepper on it. Oh, excuse me. My God, they put a lot of extra pepper on whatever they ordered. I can smell it. It is pepperific. I need to drink a swig of water. I need to flush my sinuses. Jeez Louise. Yeah, whatever. I wonder what they got. I can't see what they got because that's the next order. But whatever they got, it's loaded with seasoning. Whatever the heck it is. I'm gonna open my vent. It doesn't smell bad. It's just making me sneeze because there's so much pepper that's in it. I can smell the pepper right away. But I'll be all right. Open up my vent and then I'll be just fine. And I'll be ready to go. This was a good offer. Oh, I didn't see if I took a screenshot of that previous order. Let me see if I did. No, I did. I took a screen capture of the Dunkin' and then the Francesca. So we have the graphic. Oh, you already know. You already know because in the video I would have already placed it. That's the funny thing about when you make videos. There's some things that are time dependent. Like sometimes like today for me is Sunday. So for you guys, it's another day. You're like, oh, it's not Sunday. So, and then for me, it's like when I tell you guys how much money we made, you already know. And I'll be like, I don't know how much money we made. And then it'll flash above me on the top. But I, in the video, don't know what the total is because I haven't added it up yet. But you guys know. So there's all these weird time delays for me and for you. It's one of those weird things about making videos. I was thinking about possibly doing a live stream so that way the video would be really long to watch, but the internet is so spotty here that I don't think I would like it. I think it would just spin and I don't know. It just sounds like it would just be, it wouldn't look as good. I find that when I film the way I film, the video quality is really nice. So I think I'll just stick to doing it the way I'm doing it. And I think I like to edit it in general because maybe something inappropriate will pop up and I can edit it out. You know what I mean? If there's some sort of blooper. I don't want the blooper, especially if it's something inappropriate. Because something might happen, you know. Maybe I'll sneeze and a huge booger will fly out. I'm like, I don't want that on camera. Or who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? You know, or I might have had too many beans with my veggie burger, and I'll have like a gaseous moment, a moment of flatulence, and then I'll be like, okay, that's in the video now. Yeah, that's the weird thing about live stream. I think live streams are much more nerve-wracking. When I'm just talking to this camera, I can be rest assured that I will be able to catch anything that I wouldn't want in it. I mean, mostly. Sometimes I don't catch stuff, you know, because the videos are so long. It's like I can't watch every single second of every single frame. So sometimes I'll upload the video and I'll be like, oh shoot, that's not supposed to be in there. And then I'll have to go onto YouTube, you know, and they have like an editing feature, and I'll have to find the section of the video that I want to remove, and then it has to process, and it takes several hours for YouTube to update the video. Meanwhile, the video is still public and everybody's watching it. Well, no, that's not true, because usually my videos are on delay. Like, I don't put them out the same day. So it does give me a chance to catch anything that might be a faux pas. So, but I guess that's with anything. I mean, when you're filming and my show is basically just a live reality thing. There is no script or anything. There's nothing pre-planned. So that would lead to a lot of unexpected things that could occur. But I don't think a lot of interesting things are going to happen today, gang. I think because it's Sunday, I don't think a lot's going to happen today. It feels like it's just going to be a pretty routine day. And those, of course, are famous last words. Famous last words as we enter an apocalypse. All right, let's see here. All right, we still got 0.5 miles to go. Oh my gosh. That light was long. We were stuck there for the longest time. I think that's what my mind was thinking about too. Like, what's taking this light so long?
Turn right on Road Terrace.
Now my nose is running. UberEats just sent us something. $5.51 for 14 miles. That ain't gonna work. And we still have one more delivery to do after this. We gotta do the Francesca. Let's see, is it this street? No, one more. One more to go.
Turn left on Double Shot Lane, then drop off on the left.
And we'll drop off on the left. I'm turning the car. Oh, there's some people walking.
Drop off on the left.
I think I'll just park on this side because some people are walking and I don't want to deal with them giving me any kind of looks. That's funny. This next one is also in this neighborhood, and it wants me to take the long way around to get to it, but I'm not going to do that. Why would I take the long way around? That would make no sense. I'll come about this way and it'll be half the distance. Sometimes you can't listen to the app. It'll steer you wrong. Oh, wait a minute. Now what's it doing? Oh my gosh, this app. Okay, it's catching up. It was still telling me that it was super far away. It was still telling me, oh no, you need to go the really long way to get to this place. Even though it's literally just around the corner going this way. Now it's just, before it said 1.4 miles to get there, and now it says 0.3. That's how much of a difference it was. Almost a mile difference it was going to take me before. And only because I turned around did the app update. So sometimes it doesn't give you the best way to go. And this is the perk of staying in your neighborhood, is that you recognize the streets. So you're like, okay, I know where we're going.
Just ahead, turn right on Freshly Brewed Court.
It's coming up here right away. Right here on the right.
Turn right on
Right where this lady is crossing the street. Right where this lady is doing her morning walk. All right, let's turn. All right, it's coming up here on the right. I've been to all these houses. Almost every house this morning has been familiar. I don't know why I just turned the car off. Oh, I did it again. I think I was talking for at least 5 minutes and the camera wasn't even on. I am losing my mind. Oh my God. I must have been going on. I don't even know what I was talking. I think I was talking about the algorithm, and I was telling the algorithm how it could send me bad offers all day. I'll just be sitting at home. And I'm just in a mood now. Oh my God. I was talking to myself the whole time. That is so funny. These videos can make you real loopy after a while. I looked at, and I could tell if it's recording or not, because if there is a black square on the button, it means that it is recording. Now, you would think that if it had a red button on there, it would mean that it is recording, right? No. If it has a red button on, it means it's not recording. It means you have to press that button to start recording. So when I looked, after I had talked for several minutes, I looked up and I saw the red button, and I thought, oh no. I've been just talking to myself for the last 5 minutes, and nothing was being recorded. Oh my God. Sometimes you feel real dumb doing these videos. You can feel like a real dum-dum. Oh God. Well, I'm almost back home. Nothing's coming in. I'll probably see you guys. The next time I see you guys, it'll probably be almost 11:30. Oh my God. Some comments for my latest video entitled Dashing Talk Show Mode. Someone said, dude, you look Filipino. I get that all the time. People always say I look Filipino. And yeah, I don't have any. I'm not Filipino. I did my DNA thing. I went to the Ancestry. I am 0%. I have no Filipino blood at all. So it's all Native American and African and Spanish, and then of course Japanese. Those are all the biggies. So no, I'm just a hodgepodge of Spanish colonialism and the situation, I guess, where the Japanese decided to come over here to get jobs back in the early 1900s, when agriculture was huge in California during the early 1900s. And that's how California became known as the state where, they grow all the oranges and all the dairy and all that stuff. All right, well, I'll let you guys know if anything else comes in. It's time for a break. Somebody got these delicious cinnamon rolls. I couldn't even wait. I already took a bite. I'm gonna take a break. All right, we're off to Starbucks. We're getting, I think it's $6 for 3.1 miles. And it's currently 9:27 a.m. So it's getting, well, I think, are we halfway through the day? I don't know. We have a couple hours, I think, and then the day will be over. So I think I can talk about the topics that I think somebody sent. Oh God, I think it was yesterday. They wanted to know. The question was, what was the question? What was the question? Oh, they wanted to know why I moved to Vegas. Why did you and your family move to Vegas? That's what they wanted to know. Oh God, it's so funny how the neurons work, Because they asked another question too. It's the same person about me being an extra in a movie, but I won't answer that question today. I'll try to answer the question about why we moved to Vegas. So we've been living here in Vegas now for it's going on 15 years now. So it's been a long time that we've been here. So we're totally acclimated to living here. But we used to live in Southern California before that, and that was I would say, so that would be about 2010. Yeah, 2010. So wait a minute. So it's 2024, right? So it's only been 14 years. So 14 years ago, I lose track of time. The older you get, the more you lose track of time. It is no joke. You can't keep track of even your age. You're like, how old am I? And when did this happen? Everything starts to get jumbled the longer you live. You can't remember what even came first, second, and third in order of even your job. You're like trying to remember like your careers. Like, what job did I have first? Did I have that job before this job or after this job? And did I know this person at this time, or was it this person I knew at this time? So you get really confused because I guess the brain can only hold so much stuff before it eventually just, it just lets some things just slip around in time as when you remember them. But at any rate, we moved over here in 2010 during the Great Recession. So that was the whole impetus. That was what created the scenario for moving here. There was a horrific recession that began towards the end of 2007, and it created this whole situation that eventually pushed us to become over here to Vegas. We're coming to Starbucks, and I had a feeling I wouldn't be able to tell the whole story until I had more time. So I got to park, and let's go inside and get the Starbucks. I'm like flipping the phone all over the place. I can't even remember which direction to hold the phone. Oh, man, multitasking is not my strong suit. Oh, my eyes watering. It's hard to go from trying to tell a story and then suddenly I gotta deliver. I was like trying to remember the name of the person. I'm like, who am I picking up for? And then the Starbucks was crowded. There were a lot of people in there. And then I saw a bunch of orders were sitting there on the counter ready to go. And I'm like, is one of those mine? And me go, look, let me see if one of these orders are mine. And one of them was. And I got it. And now we're headed off 1.7 miles, 4 minutes away. And we're going to a house. Excuse me. Boy, that apple Danish that I had. I think I called it a cinnamon roll, but it was an apple Danish. It was delicious. We're going to be going to a house. Leave it at the door. Please don't ring or knock. Just leave it at the door. Thank you. Smiley face. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. I was talking about how good the apple Danish was delicious. And I had that, and then I got this offer finally. I was at home the longest time. But I was back to talking about why we moved here. See how hard it is to keep on topic when you're trying to do all these different things. So we moved here during the Great Recession, and the Great Recession started 2008, and everything was going hunky-dory. No problems. We were doing just fine. We're having a good old time. I had decided to leave my big fancy corporate job and start a design business. There's another Cybertruck. No. Whoa, can you see it? Well, that's just the back is the ugliest part of the Cybertruck. Oh, there's no point in showing you that. It's just it's ugly from the back. It really looks boring. Worth looking at. There ain't nothing to see there. He's got all kinds of stuff in the trunk too. Hold on, I want to see what he's got in the trunk. He's got the window open in the back, and his truck and the trunk is loaded so high that stuff is sticking out of the top of the back of the Cybertruck. He's using it like it's a pickup truck by opening up the window in the back. God, that thing is designed so bad. It looks horrific. So the business was going just fine, and I had just I was doing a lot of corporate stuff for the business, for a lot of healthcare companies, and everything was just going along just fine. But once the recession hit, business started to dry up. So 2007 was fine. 2008, towards the end of 2008, business started to get a little bit more tricky and not so rosy. And so I think what happened was we decided that and also there was a lot of health issues going on. We had a family member already living here in Vegas, and there was a lot of issues with, people passing away or being really, really ill and getting very old. And so we were like, well, maybe we should just consider, getting a place over there. But there were also some job opportunities that were coming up in Arizona. So we were looking into opportunities. Oh, this food stinks. We were looking at opportunities in Arizona as well. But we had to figure out, where are we going? Are we going to Arizona? Or are we going to Vegas? So we were still trying to figure all that out. So it was kind of a convoluted mess. We didn't really know what was happening, but we came to the conclusion that we did have to move. We said, look, financially, it just makes sense to go because of the high property taxes. We were paying probably $7,000 a month or something. Oh, we're pulling up on the house. Let's see, is it this one? It's this one. Almost ran somebody over. Got a biggie from DoorDash, and let me tell you what it is. Excuse me. We got a $25, 5.8 miles to shop for 25 items. Let's get over there. All right, we have 4 minutes till we get to the place. So I don't know if I finished this whole story because it's too darn long. How do you tell the story so long? So anyway, so we hired a realtor. Because we decided we just had to sell. And then I did research on houses. And of course, Phoenix, Arizona, and Las Vegas, during the recession, the housing prices were 50% cheaper than what they were in Southern California. So I knew whatever was going to happen, we were going to be good. I said, okay, so we're basically going to get a bigger house for half the price. So we're 50% off. So we're like, well, that's great. We're like, that sounds perfect because that would be lower property taxes, because that was one of the biggest things. It was the mortgages. Our mortgage was really high, and then the property taxes were really high. I think the house had an estimated value at the time of about I don't know, about maybe $900,000. I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot at the time, the value of it. Somewhere between like 7 and 9. I don't know. It was a lot. So the property taxes were a lot of money because you're paying like 1.1% of the value of the house. And of course the house was was decreasing in value rapidly. So the property taxes were going to get reassessed. And but the monthly payment was still really high for the mortgage, because that's just the way it is in California at the time that we were buying. Like every time you got a house, you were always upgrading to a bigger house or to a more expensive house. So that was like the way it went. So it was like when the first house was like $200, then the next house was $400, and then the next house is $800. So it keeps doubling and doubling and doubling because you're paying you're partially using the house as a means to get out of debt. So you're rolling debt into the loan of the house to remove any like student loan debts or whatever debts you happen to have. And then you're also upgrading because you're, in a sense, you are living in your flip. So you're buying the house for whatever price, and then you're making payments on it and improving it, and then you flip it and you're doubling your money. So this is the state of mind in California and what you do to get rich. These are like get rich schemes that people do. Now, a lot of people still do it to this day, although it's coming to an end again because it goes in cycles. And you know how California is so popular, everybody wants to live there. So I guess we weren't in a scene where we were house flippers. We were just house upgraders. We'd get a house, live in it for a few years, and upgrade, and then continue the cycle. But the cycle was coming to an end because we were entering the Great Recession. And when you enter the Great Recession, no one had been through a Great Recession before. It was an uncharted territory, so it's very scary. So basically, when the Great Recession hit, as you guys all know, everything dried up. Work dried up, property values plummeted, people were going into foreclosure left and right. You saw for sale signs on every street. Nobody wanted to buy a house. And so the housing prices were plummeting and plummeting and plummeting. Even the house that we had purchased here in Vegas, it was originally like $500,000, and it actually went as low as like $199.99. It was that's how severe it was. It was so heavily because at the point of the recession up here in Vegas, the houses were at the point where squatters were were taking them over because they were just being foreclosed upon and abandoned. So it was causing so it was very scary. It was a very scary time. And people forget, when it's like the pandemic, we all want to put it in the rearview mirror and forget it even happened. Oh, we're almost there. I gotta show you the shopping list. Let's move on to that. Hit the button here. No, not that. Hit start recording, skip. All right, we've arrived at the store. Let's start shopping. Let's see if there's any cases of water in here. So far we're good. Some Dove. So it looks like some candy. Is that candy? String cheese. A lot of cheese. I don't see anything heavy yet. No, there's nothing heavy. Everything looks good. So I'm gonna stop that. Stop the shopping. Turn off the shopping. And now we're gonna have to park. But that was part of the reason why that we moved up here was financial. So financial reasons. We knew that it would be a wise decision to do financially. So that was the essential. That was the gist. That's the gist of it. Okay, I gotta park and go in shopping. Is it whole that they want, or is it? I don't know. Well, that was difficult. We had a problem with three I think it was 3 different items that they didn't have in stock. There were no substitutions. There were no substitutions. And there was no way to bypass. Tried calling, tried texting, no response. So we're going to get less money for sure for this one, unfortunately. So it looks like, what did we think we were going to get? $25 is what we think we're going to get. So my guess is we're going to get $20 is my best guess. Is what the result's going to be of this situation. Which of course is not a pleasant experience whatsoever. In fact, it is downright irritating as all get out. So the items were, let's see, there was some type of Paw Patrol shredded cheese sticks. Paw Patrol cheese sticks that they wanted, and they didn't have them. There was some kind of Haagen-Dazs gluten-free mint ice cream. They didn't have it. And then there was some type of cashew something, like some orange bag of cashews, that are seasoned to a certain type of delectable taste that the customer would love to enjoy. But they did not have that particular flavor. Although they did have the 2 other flavors, they did not have the flavor that the customer would prefer. So we're going to basically get cheated out of probably about $5 is my guess. At least a couple of dollars we're going to get cheated out of, because the items were not in stock and the customer was not available or just did not give a rat's ass. It was like, I ain't answering that phone. If they don't have what I want, don't bother me. Maybe that's what they were thinking. Who knows? Who knows what goes on in the minds of these customers? I can't say. All I know is it ticks me off. It really ticks me off to do these shopping orders and they don't have the items in stock, and then you lose money. And it still took me just the same amount of time, but that's the price you pay when you do this kind of job. You get bamboozled. You get the old heave ho. So nothing I can do. So I don't know. Let's see what is going on with this. So leave at the door, and it's a house, and I just got to turn up here coming up. But we got 7 minutes to chit chat. So let's see. What was I saying? So we were like, we got a realtor. Yeah, we got a realtor. That's right. We got a realtor, and we didn't know where we were going. And like maybe we're gonna go to Arizona because there's opportunities down there, and we're waiting to see if that came to fruition. And but it was a long process because that was up in the air too. And then of course, trying to sell your house during the Great Recession is no easy task. It took quite a long time. I want to say it took over a year before we were finally able to sell the house that we were living in Southern California. It took a very long time. It was excruciating. And it had a lot of tragedies that happened during that time, including one of the dogs passed away. Coco, he passed away during that time. So there's grieving going on while we're trying to sell the house. There were family members that were sick and not well and in nursing home. It was just a total disaster. Everything was so stressful during that time. I even got sick and I ended up in the hospital. So there was a lot. That time period was intense, to say the least. I'm just glad I survived it. So I think, did I answer the question why we moved up here? So we moved up here for financial reasons, and it was a wise decision. It was very wise that we moved up here. See how it becomes like a mini series? Trying to explain why we moved up here, because it was multiple reasons why we moved up here, and it was all for the best. I mean, ultimately it was for the best because everyone is much happier being up here, and financially, of course, it was a big success because it led us to where we are now, and we don't have to necessarily worry about the financial stresses that the average person would have at our age bracket. In our age bracket, we don't have to have that kind of stress put upon us. So in that regards, it was a very good decision to make the move up here because the property taxes are much cheaper. There's no state income taxes, and of course the mortgage rate that we got is super low. I think it was like 3% or something like that. So super low interest rate. So everything is just so manageable to live up here. It is not even funny. So it was a wise decision. It was a wise choice on the family's part to make this decision. And it's going to allow us to have like an early retirement and not have to worry about the stresses that the average person would have to contend with in this type of environment. Especially now that we're at the point where inflation is just incredibly out of control. And who knows when we're going to hit a recession, but that is also on the horizon and a big concern for everybody. So there's a lot of fear going on right now. You can feel it. It's palpable. You can feel everybody worried about what's to come, and they're battening down the hatches. And hopefully everything is not going to be a problem. I hope everybody financially is prepared and can manage and to weather the storm that is going to come, because the storms come no matter what. They come eventually. Whether it's a year from now, 5 years from now, or 10 years from now, a storm is a-coming. Everybody get ready. So that was pretty much why we moved to Vegas. Did I answer that question? Did I answer your question? Feel free to respond in the comments with further questions that you may have in regards to my move to Las Vegas, Nevada. I turned UberEats back on. As we get closer to the drop-off, we are now 0.8 miles from dropping this grocery order off, and so maybe we'll get something else. The time is currently 10:25. Oh, here comes UberEats. No, $9.12, 2 deliveries, 8.7 miles. No. Yeah, we're approximately an hour away from this day being at an end, so we should get at least one more before the day's over. So I just decided just turn on UberEats, and if something comes in while we're at this red light or while we're almost, I'll have to turn it off once I arrive to deliver, because I won't be able to check it when I have my hands full with the camera and the groceries and everything else. So I will turn off UberEats when I near the drop off, because I have no choice, because that's part of the videos. This is the sacrifice you make when you make the videos. You lose the agileness of the delivery process, which I think that making the videos will pay off better in the long run, because I think as the channel goes on and on and on and on, and people start to like really enjoy, keeping up to date with my job here and the things that I do and the stories that I tell, that'll probably become more valuable, I think. I hope. I hope. And if it doesn't, that's okay. But we got a year. We got actually what do we got? 9 or 10 months? We got 10 more months to see how this thing pans out. This whole YouTube sensation. See how it goes. We're almost there, just a quarter of a mile. I think I have to turn right here. I'm gonna switch off UberEats because I don't want to be distracted. I'm sure it's just gonna spin. I bet you there's no internet here. That's the problem with my AT&T service. Oh, it turned off. I heard it go bong. It turned off. So, all right, let's hope this is an easy drop off. I don't want no lady coming out screaming saying, "Where's my ice cream? Why didn't you get my ice cream?" I always imagine the most dramatic situations that could come up. Let's see if we can find this place. It looks like it is right here. Okay, I see it on the left. I just have to turn around like I always do. Oh, they got a lot of stairs. Oh, great. Okay, well, good news. We got all the money. We got $25 even. So we really were fortunate that that worked out, because we could have not got the money. We could have not got it. So they gave us the full amount. So we're happy again. That's all good. And then there was no internet. There was no internet there. So I had to take a picture with my primary phone, then use my secondary phone to take a picture. I was like, click, click, click of the picture on my phone, so that I can send the picture of their front door to DoorDash and also to the customer and close out the order. So that added a little bit of stress, but I've done it now so many times, it's very robotic now. So I wasn't super stressed. I was more stressed about, am I going to get my money or not? So that's all done. So now we're just waiting for the next one. And then what else can I tell you about moving here? Moving here was difficult, extremely difficult in the beginning. One, because I ended up in the hospital, so that was no fun. Well, $3.06, UberEats 3.7 miles, no. And then number two, UberEats $5, 3 cents, 7.1 miles, no. And then the other stressful things were the recession initially was not affecting my end of the business. So I was not really having too many difficulties, because of the way I had set up my my end of the business. Money was coming in. We weren't having any problem generating that income, but as time went on, it started to become just a little bit more difficult. And so that was a little bit more stressful. So it was just a lot of stressful things. And then there was like people across the street who were homeless, who had broken into the house across the street, and they were like living in there with no electricity and no utilities. So and we're like, oh my God, this whole neighborhood is gonna just completely come apart, and it's gonna just fall apart. We're gonna be living in some trashy area. It's gonna go from a nice area to a trashy area. So we were worried about that. $10.50 for 9.1 miles, no. So we were just really worried about that. We were just really stressed the heck out. It was no joke. It was a very stressful time. We can all look back on it now and laugh. We can laugh our asses off. $20 for 8.7 miles. But we got to go to two places. We got to go to PetSmart, and then we got to go to Target. And it's 8.7 miles. That's not that bad. I guess I'll take that as the last one, I guess, gang. So let me hit the old accept the Rooney. I accepted it. And then, of course, I've got to get over to PetSmart first, it looks like. So, yeah, let's do that. Let me see if there's any other comments that I want to answer for today. Let's see. Someone just said, nice long video on a Sunday morning. So that means they're enjoying my video that is really long. It's like an hour and a half long. So that's good news. And then someone said, I used to think that the better the neighborhood, the better the tip. But from experience over the years, I find that the most generous are those in lower income neighborhoods. Yeah, I mean, I don't really even base it at all whether the house is fancy or not fancy. It's just so random. I've had big tips from fancy houses and big tips from trashy houses. So it's just random. That's all it is. It's just the person, the individual person, and whether or not they themselves are either a natural big tipper or they're in a circumstance that's causing them to be generous. Maybe they've come into a lot of money or something, or they're just happy. They could be happy. Maybe they've fallen in love and the world is all rosy, so they want to share the happiness with the delivery person. There's a million reasons. They can celebrating because they got a new puppy, a new puppy dog, and so like that's why they're so generous. So you can never say what's going on in the mind of a person and why they're doing what they're doing. The reasons are endless. We're pulling up here on PetSmart, so it's that time. We have to look and see what we're shopping for. Here we go. It's cat food, and looks like just a bag of dog food. So it doesn't look bad at all. Let's just get this done so we can move on to the next one and end our day. Got it all except for one package of wet cat food. Pretty much we got it all. And now we got to get through the long line. Oh, I think the line shrunk. I think we're good. This app is so weird. We have to go to a Target that's 9 minutes from here. But there's a Target right here in this shopping mall. They're so strange. I don't understand the logic. It's like, why wouldn't I just shop at this one that's literally right here in this parking lot? Why are they making me drive 9 minutes away to do shopping at a place I could do right here? I don't get it. Oh well. The mystery of DoorDash. These delivery apps. Who knows? Oh, well, I got everything as I said except for that one with one can. So it was easy. The only thing is that it stunk like all hell in there. The smell of dog was so strong. It gave me a little bit of a runny nose. But there was no long line. When I first walked in, the line was super long. And then I guess a second checker showed up and shrunk the line back down. So it wasn't that bad once I got, once it was my time to get to the register, the line wasn't that long. It was actually very manageable. So I was able to do it. So I got in there just fine. Just thinking if anything else I needed to tell you that would relate to the moving to Vegas. I can't think of anything. It was hard moving. It was difficult because it was the family and then all the animals. We had 3 cats and a dog to transfer all that way. And the poor cats, they were terrified the whole way up. They're not with us anymore. They've now since passed away. But at that time, it was so stressful. They're indoor cats, so for them to suddenly be in a car for all those hours, it was very, very scary, very stressful. That whole time period, I'm trying to not even remember it. It's all negative. The only thing positive was that, it felt like a little bit, you ever watch Little House on the Prairie? It felt like a Little House on the Prairie. That's what it felt like. It felt like we were just taking a chance. We had bundled ourselves up in our covered wagon and made our way to Vegas. And who knows what was in store for us? Who knows what horrific things were awaiting us? And we just tried to be optimistic about it because it was all a mystery. And of course, just like Little House on the Prairie, drama ensued like you wouldn't believe. Things happened left and right. Sad things, terrifying things, troubling things, stressful things, and then of course then there were good times, then there were good things that happened and fun things that happened. So like that show Little House on the Prairie, only it was in modern times. So yeah, it was just crazy. It was a really crazy time. And boy, the world sure has changed since then. When we had first moved here, well, actually, when I had first left my corporate job, that's when social media was just starting. So Facebook was still not even mobile yet. It was just a desktop website that you would go to. It was that and, was it Friendster? No, there was another one. What was it called? I don't know. It was another social media site. My Friend, or what was it called? Friend? I don't know what it was called. Remember that one? Everybody was friends with the owner. That's the first friend you get when you join that site. MySpace, that's it. MySpace. That was the big one. Facebook still was not as big as MySpace, and everybody was on MySpace. So that's the time period. You have to remember the time period of when I first moved here. That's how long ago it was. We had, I think, just before the recession, we had bought the first iPhone, first generation iPhone. So even technology was still so primitive. We had the first iPhone, and we had the first iPhone couldn't do anything. It didn't even have an app store. You just put your it was basically an iPod and a phone. That's really all it was. It was the combination of something to hold your music on, and you plug it into your desktop computer, and then you would transfer your bootleg CDs onto the phone, and then you would have music on your phone so you could listen to music. But there was no video. There was nothing like that. There was no real web capabilities on there that I can recall. And so you would send text messages with it. You would make phone calls with it, and then you just listen to your music. That was just physically on the device. There was no fancy connection that you would make where things would stream. In fact, the word stream wasn't even created yet. So people didn't even say stream. It was just upload and download, and that was it. That was all people used. So that's how long ago it was since I moved here. So you can tell it's been a very long time. That is like night and day. So yeah. And then we would get Netflix. We would still get the DVDs in the mail, and we would pop them into our DVD player, and then we'd pop them into the little envelope, the little sleeve, and mail them back. And then once we moved here to Vegas, that's when we started seeing the things here. Then everything started to evolve, where everything was going mobile, and that was all the big trend. And apps, everybody's just crazy about apps. That's when we moved here. Everything started to transform. So that's how fast the future changes. The times we're living right now, you think it's always going to be this way because you're in the present moment, and you think, well, this is it. But no, we'll take a peek into the future 10, 15 years from now, and we'll all just be in shock once again at the transformations that have occurred. And this will look like the olden days. Well, but like back in the olden days, remember when everybody did the YouTube and made the videos and they uploaded the videos? Because the world is crazy. You can never predict what the future is going to bring. It is so wild. Oh my gosh, I've been talking for so long, I forgot where we were going. We still have to finish doing our shopping. We have 3 more minutes of driving. We're almost at the Target. Let me get over one more. I was like on total autopilot. I almost forgot we were even working. I was so caught up in the conversation, in the chit-chat mode. So it's just about, we're getting pretty close, and I'll throw up what we're shopping for. As I recall, we're only going to be shopping for 2 items, just 2. So we should be done fairly quickly, and it's 11:56, and there's 30 minutes left in the day. So we should pretty much end our day by 11:30. As long as we don't hit any roadblocks, we shouldn't have any difficulties doing this, because all these drop-offs should be very close by, because if I recall, the number of miles that we had to travel was not that big. It was not like a ton of miles. So we've already driven a ton of miles just coming all the way over here from the starting point of when we first got this offer. So it shouldn't be too much longer. All right, let me exit out of the app, arrive at the store. Let me press the start shopping button. I'm gonna hit the screen mode, start recording, skip the countdown. And it looks like we're shopping for just 1 item and 2 quantities of it. And it could be a difficult item. It's a Scotch removable mounting putty. So that might be a little bit tricky, because I'm not exactly sure where this would be at. Most likely it's gonna be where the tape is, like the office supplies and all that stuff. That's more than likely where it's gonna be. So we'll try that first because it doesn't tell me what aisle it's in. It just says household. Oh, let me stop this. No need to keep recording a still screen of mounting putty. Oy, oy, oy. Oy, 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 oy. This job, this life, let me tell you, it is a struggle. The struggle is real. All right, let's see. Oh, I guess I'll try the next one to park. Since that person, I guess everybody's here today at Target. It's a big cluster F. It's a cluster F. Here at Target. I'm gonna park way here in the back and just walk because there's just too much going on here today. I bet you the lines are gonna be horrific. All right, we got it. Now I just gotta check out.
Remember to grab your receipt. Thanks. See you again soon.
Once again, the Target employees saved my life. I could not find where they put that product. I looked in the arts and crafts. I looked where the tape was and all the stuff that relates to pens and markers, and it wasn't there. And it turned out it was over where he said it was where the poster board is. So I was like, oh, okay. And so I went over there and he told me the aisle number. Now, why the app doesn't tell you the aisle number is beyond me. I thought that stuff should be in the system. For the groceries, they have the aisle numbers listed, but they don't do that for other things. Beyond groceries, they don't tell you where things are on the DoorDash app, unfortunately. So that makes it difficult to find, especially unusual little things like that, because I don't often shop for stuff like that. I know there's one item that I'll never forget, and it's their protein bars. Some protein bars are over in the cereal aisle with their granola bars and stuff, but other ones are over in near the pharmacy section. And so it just depends. So I usually will always first go to the pharmacy section when I see protein bars listed in the shopping list and look there first because it's on the way to the groceries. And if I don't see it there, then I go all the way over to the other side of the store to get to the other types of bars that they have, which are protein as well. Like they have the regular granola, but then they also have ones that say protein on them. So there's a gray line, I guess, between the super bodybuilder, exercise, fitness people protein bars, and then just the regular, I just want a snack protein bars. I mean, I guess, I don't know why they're organized like that. Maybe it's just the company, maybe that particular company owns all that shelf space. Like they've paid off Target and they've laid their claim to that section of the aisle. I used to work for a company that made products, and they would do that all the time. They would actually do deals with stores to tell them, get rid of our competitor stuff off the shelf so that we can just have that shelf all to ourselves, so that way the customer only sees our product and buys it. That is so sneaky. The retail industry is so cutthroat, it is not even funny. They do so many shady tactics to make sure that their product is front and center and everybody else's products are shoved to the back, so that way it's difficult for the average customer to even know or sample a new product. It is a very cutthroat industry. But yeah, so anyway, I couldn't find that putty, and the guy finally helped me to get it, and we got the heck out of there. And it was only, the total came out to a little over $4. I think you saw, I was trying to record myself doing the self-checkout, but I don't know if you were able to see the total, but it was just a little over $4 for that purchase. So it was a very tiny purchase, so I don't know how much they ended up paying out of their own pocket for what they got, but they definitely did not pay no $4, I'll tell you that much. Nobody gets away with using DoorDash and only paying $4 for anything. All right, we're now 0.4 miles away. We got a turn coming up. It's a house and we have a gate code, so we're good on that. Just got to make sure I don't miss it. And this is just drop off number 1. We have one more to do after this. I hope it's close to home. I didn't look on the map, so I can't tell you. We'll find out together. And somebody lost their kitty. They had a little sign out saying lost kitty. How sad. My kitties have disappeared when I had cats. I got so upset. And it turned out that I was like all like crying and upset, and I was like, oh, my cat. My cat's gone. And then the next day I was sitting outside in the front bench by the front door, and my cat was just hiding in the bushes. He never left the house. She just got out, and then we didn't realize she was out, and so she got so frustrated she just hopped the fence and tried to get in from the other side. But she never left the property. She was just staying nearby, waiting for somebody to finally, open the door. But she couldn't stay out and be exposed because she knew, instinctively that something could get her. So she was hiding, waiting for us to to be around so she could come out. So she did. All right, it's here on the left for the first one. It's here on. Of course, I gotta make a U-turn. I gotta turn around. Here we go. Turning around.
Leave at my door. Number 1000.
And this is going to be the Target order, I believe. Yeah, it says Target. Yep, this is it. All right, let's drop it off. Seems really wacky with this order. Let me tell you why. All the miles we've driven already, and this last one we have to drive 7.3 miles to drop off this last one. I'm going to this app. I want to see. No, wait, that's not right. I want to know, how much was this originally? Where is it? It's only supposed to be 8.7 miles total for this job. That's it, 8.7. How can this be 8.7 miles? It's not possible. It is absolutely not possible that this is an 8.7 mile job. No. Oh God, I went to a dead end. I'm so mad. This stupid navigation took us to the last stop. This one was supposed to be the last stop, and that would have equaled the number of miles. Oh, I am so mad. I'm mad. Now, see, it started off shitty and it's ending shitty. That is unbelievable. How could they possibly do this? Why would you set me up and lie to me about the number of miles this job is going to be? Because it's not what they said. I don't know how to complain. You guys let me know in the comments how I could possibly complain about this. It says total miles, PetSmart, which we did, and Target. And then it says 8.7 miles. But we've already driven at least 8.7 miles. And this is going to be 7.1 more miles to the drop-off. Something's not right. Oh my God, we're going to be so far too. Man, this is just so wrong. They lied. Basically what they did is they lied to us. And there's no way, based on, we're going deep into Anthem. So they basically lied. This is an incorrect order. The number of miles that they're having us drive. What they quoted the number of miles being was not true. It was a lie. I'm so mad. They basically told us a big fat lie. I'm like, I don't know how to prove it. I don't know how to tell, what to say, because what do you say to the what could you possibly say to DoorDash to tell them that they effed you over and tell them that the miles are now much larger? They wouldn't say anything. What they do? Give you, I guess maybe they give you an extra $3. I don't know. I don't know what they would do. Maybe the customer changed the maybe we will get more money, because maybe the customer actually changed the drop-off location, because there's no way it could be this off. This is really off, the number of miles. It is unbelievable how off the miles are. Oh, I'm so mad. Ooh, shoot. What's really upsetting is that this is going to now put it, when we drop this off, it will be 11:30. So now I won't get home until just before noon. So it's eating into my personal time. Not really, man. When you're eating my personal time, that's personal. Right, I talked to support, and they said there's nothing they can do. They said I can either unassign myself from the order or complete it. Those are my only options, and there is no additional compensation that I'll get. So they basically just threw up the middle finger. That was pretty much it. That was the end result. So we're adding on an extra 14 miles. Well, an extra 7 miles to this job. So grand total miles for this job, and we are gonna be far from home. I would say it's about 15 miles for $20 is what we're getting for this job. So they really screwed us over. Now time wise, it's going to be exactly an hour. So we're going to get $20 an hour for this last one. But boy, I can't believe that. That's never happened before. That's the first time I've ever gotten an assignment from DoorDash that clearly was much greater miles than what they had said. Usually whatever they say the miles are, that's actually what the miles are. But there is no way, no matter what order I did this assignment in, it was going to be this number of miles. There was no way around it. So it had nothing to do with the order that I did the deliveries. It had nothing to do with that, or the order of the drop-offs. This was 100% an error on the systems part that it somehow miscalculated the total number of miles for this job. Now, why doesn't it miscalculate the amount of money they're going to pay us? That would be a nice twist. Why would it suddenly just be about the miles, that you'd undercut the miles by how many miles? Oh, probably by 12 miles. It put down like 5 point something miles for this job, and it's actually 17 point something. So it's like 12 extra miles that were hidden from the driver. Oh boy, that is terrible. That is just terrible, terrible, terrible. And they basically they gave me no solution for the problem other than just do the job or don't do the job. That's it. That was their only response. It's like, you don't want to do the job, don't do it. Don't get the money. Take the loss. But you accepted it, so you either get that money or you don't. I don't understand it. I really don't. I mean, let me know in the comments. I want to know if you guys ever had this happen to you. This is just wrong. I'm burning gas and wasting time. I wouldn't have taken this assignment. They told me a big BS. And this is not minor. This isn't not like a baby mistake. This is a lot of miles. This is a lot of miles that they're putting us through. Oh man, I'm so mad. So mad. Oh, mama, I'm so mad. 0.8 miles, 2 minutes to go. Leave at the door, ring the doorbell, and leave on the porch. And use Google Maps. It gives the most accurate directions. I'm like, whatever. Excuse me. God. This is a terrible way to end the day. Terrible, terrible. I guess it's just to be expected, you know. We have to let's look at the positive side. It's Sunday, so traffic is not as heavy. So the amount of time it's going to take me to get back home is not going to be as long as it normally would be. So that is one good thing about this situation. Let me get my Google Maps ready to get me the hell out of here, because as soon as I drop this off, I am peeling out. I'm going to gun it out of this place. Let's see. Currently, it's going to take me 20 minutes to get back home. 20 minutes. Ay. This is unbelievable. This is about as far. Well, it could be worse. We could be all the way in North Vegas. If it was all the way in North Vegas, I would take that stuff and just dump it off at a corner and snap a picture and leave. I wouldn't even deliver. I would just say, "This is it. We've arrived." I would just snap a picture, because that's how pissed off I would be if it was that far. Luckily, at least we're still in familiar territory. Beautiful neighborhood of Anthem, so you might as well at least you guys can have some enjoyment of the neighborhood. Let's see. Oh, it's over there somewhere. It's in there somewhere. I've got to walk over there. I got to walk to that long walking path. I got to walk all the way down there. I'll leave it on for you guys so you can. Holy smokes. Well, there's no internet here. So I had to take a picture with my phone. And I can't close out the order. So the order is still left open as we make our way back trying to get some internet service. Hey, well, I did it. Oh man. Try driving in the car and juggling two phones and trying to take a picture of one phone and the other at the same time. Good God. What a nut these people are, man. So we got $20 for that one. There was no extra amount of money. That was the flat rate. So I guess that's the unhappy ending to this episode. This irritating episode. I guess we can end it on a positive note in that we must have made at least some kind of decent money, right? I hope, right? Can you guys see how much money we made? I'm sure it can't be that bad. So take a look above, take a look above, take a look below, read all that good information, and hopefully it's all good news. And hopefully you guys are pleased with the amount of money that we accrued on our journeys together today into the forbidden zone, into the nightmare zone. And I'm gonna go home and I'm going to have a nice, I can't have a soda. No soda. I would love to have a soda right now, see, because of all the stress. I would love a soda and a big bag of Doritos. But I won't. I will not. So that's it. I don't know what else to say to you guys. I don't think there's anything else to mention. You've got all the information above and below. And our day ended on a crappy note, but it's over. That's the good news. It's over. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me suffer at the end. All right. Have a good one. I will see you guys on the next one. Bye for now.